So we now know all of the original houses that are coming to HHN 35. This past week was what we in the fandom call Originals Week, and every day or every other day they announce a new house, and we finally know what the entire slate of the originals are, and we're going to talk about those in today's video.
Yeah, and we only have 3 more IP houses that need to be announced, so it's really coming down to the wire. It is going to be here before we know it.
I know, we are 70% of the way there in terms of house announcements. So in today's video, we're going to go inside the park, check up on the latest construction, and give you guys all the details of what we know so far about the houses that they announced.
We just walked into the park and we're already seeing new lights and truss, and then there is some truss over here right outside of the Despicable Me ride, which is usually the entrance to some of the houses.
Just outside of Minion Mayhem, we have the trusses that are going to have the wait times and the house signs for all the houses that are going to be back that way. You got one over there, and then you got one over here. And if you remember from last year, down this way, this would take you back behind the sound stages, and this is how you would get to like Five Nights at Freddy's and the Wyatt Six and whatnot. So it looks like that same path is going to be returning this year. And over the next few weeks, we'll see some like drapery go over this, and then the TV screens will go up. I know it's a lot of walking when you come to HHN, but I liked the layout that they had last year. Like that little walkway where it takes you to like 4 different houses. I thought it worked pretty well.
I thought so too. The year before that, I don't know if it was it the year before that I was pregnant?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because of that, but there was a lot of walking that year, I feel like.
So as we're coming up on the stage, there's some more truss that's out. However, this is not for HHN. This is going to be for the 4th of July, because they do like a whole like DJ thing and it becomes like a dance party. So these pieces of truss are going to be for like the 4th of July, but you could see back here by the bathrooms, they have the archway up, and very similar to what I just showed you over by Despicable Me, this is going to be another like 4-house entrance over here. Yeah, here's a closer look at the truss. It's basically exactly the same as it was last year. This will get covered up, and then like same thing with the other one. They'll put the TVs over here that tells you what's back this way as far as the wait times and all that. And then you can get a pretty good look at some of the coaster progress for Fast and the Furious. So the coaster is going to be coming through right over here, and I can almost guarantee by the time HHN rolls around, this is going to be very much completed. So it'll be interesting to see what the sight lines are. We had 3 new original houses that were announced this past week, and one of them was Madlands, Caged Cannibals. And the description says, in this haunted house, a defunct zoo is now the deadly domain of warring cannibal factions that have taken their animal instincts to extremes. They're territorial, they're hungry, and your lunch. I mentioned this in the last video too when we did the whole deep dive into Blood and Guts, but something I like that they're doing this year is when there's an original house that's announced, they're like accompanying it with an interview in an article. So let's take a look at what they had to say about this particular house.
Cinema Blend interviewed Laura Sauls, and she said it's a bloody house. It's one of our bloodiest this year. The cannibals are coming at guests strongly. They're killing machines, and every person that goes into this house is their prey.
She says when guests enter Madlands, they'll be transported to a fictional dystopian world where a tribe of cannibals take on the traits of zoo animals when hunting their prey. And guys, we are the prey. Laura also said, we think this house is gonna be one of the most aggressive in the event. I think this is gonna be intense, very bloody, very in your face, very intense. These are tribes of cannibals. They just need to eat, and you are their food. They also say in the article that they were curious about the smells in this house, and Laura teased that there's some interesting ones to get ready for. Hope you brought a clothespin.
That doesn't sound too promising.
It sounds like it's gonna be the grossest house of the year.
Yeah, definitely. And also the smells, that's always what gets me. Like if there's some gross smells in there, oh, that just makes it 10 times worse.
I think out of all the originals that they've announced, and we'll go over the other 2 a little bit later on in the video, this is the one that I'm the most curious about. Like this for me is the museum house of this year. If you remember the museum house from a couple of years back. That's kind of how I'm viewing this going in. Like it sounds like it's gonna be an old school HHN house, and I'm all for that. But it's gonna be probably towards the bottom of my originals hype list. And by the end of the video, we'll give you what our hype lists are as of now, like our way too early predictions on what we think the best originals are gonna be. But this one, I think has a lot of promise. For me, it's very much like a wait and see, and let's see if they actually nail it. Got some lights in San Francisco. We got lights on truss. What a glorious sight. So the Gear Deli building right outside of Fast and the Furious, this has been under scrim for what feels like at least a month or two at this point. But this should be done by HHN because they always project something onto this building. Usually it'll say like HHN 35 or some sort of like a gobo. Still no word on the shows. We still have a couple of more IPs to be announced. The stage show, which used to be Nightmare Fuel, and then the Lagoon show. So we still got a long ways to go as far as announcements go. I know it seems like we're kind of wrapping up, but there's still a handful of things that have yet to come. Big update in San Francisco. We got the truss is up. The truss cage for what's most likely going to be Club Horror again is here. We haven't seen this the last few times we've come.
Even the stages where like the dancers
Oh
are.
yeah, the stages are up. There's one right here.
And
Let's
then the
see.
DJ booth is probably going to be up there.
Yep, DJ booth. You got the steps. So they have the little stages. Stages are, I think, well, maybe not the exact same spots as last year, but
Pretty
at the very
much.
least, yeah, pretty close. So you got one right here, then you have one over there, and then one
two.
over there, and there might be another one. But yeah, the DJ is gonna go over here again. Nothing on the truss just yet. It's just like that outer shell, but this doesn't get a ton of theming. They did add like a couple like masks and stuff on it last year, but
and the rumor is that the Pumpkin Lord is going to be the DJ, which
well,
I
don't
think
know
is,
if he's going to be the DJ, but he's rumored to be here.
but that would be hilarious. Like I want to know if he's going to be like burping and farting on the mic, because that's what he did like when he was in the front of the park.
Here's another one of the little stages over here. So it looks like dancers will definitely be back. Got a couple of steps. There's the base of that truss. And like I said, you got one stage over here, one stage over there, one right there, and then one over here. So they're basically right underneath the truss bases. So yeah, here's one final look at the truss in its current form. When we initially talked about the Pumpkin Lord coming here, I mentioned this in that video, so I'm not gonna rehash everything I said, but the thing that has me the most excited about that, not only to possibly see him again, but I want like a legitimate theme for this area, because last year was really cool. It was a fun place to come and hang out, grab a drink if that's what you're into, but it didn't have much of a theme. So I'm kind of hoping like if they do it this year, it has like a cohesive theme and it somewhat feels like a scare zone, even though it's still gonna be like a bar and a DJ and all that.
We came into Diagon Alley, and it is confirmed that the Death Eaters are coming back this year, especially now that they set up this stage. This is where they usually hang out, over here, and also on the other stage closer to like where you could get the butterbeer.
You can see too, they have a little fog machine box that's gonna be coming out the bottom of that little hole. So they got props out and about. We'll go see what else we can find. They have this box over here that they're actually hiding some lighting inside of. The next original haunted house that we have to talk about from this week is Cybergoria. Awaken thousands of years in the future in this haunted house and brave a cold world driven by machines with a singular goal: to make you live forever, even if it kills you. This one I'm really excited about. It really is giving me like Terminator vibes, you know, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's obviously not gonna be that, it's not Terminator, but like that style of a haunted house could be pretty cool. And there was another article with Universal talking about this house, so let's see what they had to say. So this article is from Game Rant, and they had exclusive details about the haunted house. And this article, they talked to Matt Flood, one of the show directors and the creator of the Cybergoria house. So the backstory involves a corporation called Bio-Immortal Bionic Intelligence Systems that sought to offer its customers immortality. Of course, that dream of immortality required some technological advancements, so Bio-Immortal put its customers through a cryo-freezing process to preserve them until that tech caught up with the rest of the world. As these things typically go, Bio-Immortal offers a standard and a cost-efficient option, with a cost-efficient version putting humans in freezer bags while they sleep and wait. Unfortunately, they could never deliver on its promise, but its intelligent facility tried to make do with its resources. That means combining human parts with robot parts to try to keep the living tissue going. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty gross. Article says that guests will go through the freezing process into the disturbing future where man and machine have melded. So Matt had some really interesting, like, direct quotes in this article. One of them I'm about to read you right now, and if you were fans of the Insidious house, you might be excited. So he says, this one is exciting for a couple of reasons. I talked about the facility being really fully integrated and kind of alive. Our team is getting better and better, and the amount of integration of audio, lights, and how these characters are being presented is at a next level. It's extremely exciting to see how we can bring an entire room to life so everything is structured in a way that heightens the scares exponentially more than what we've done in a lot of our stuff. I'm speaking in general, but if you walk through our Insidious house a couple of years back, it was received as a very scary house, and we're applying the same kind of thinking to this one. It becomes both a very unsettling house from the subject matter, but then also really aggressive and highly integrated. When asked about what techniques guests can expect to see in Cybergoria, he called out two details. One is a set of well-designed mirror elements that he says enhance the space in a way that becomes both confusing and large. In addition, there's a character that, while it's a small element throughout the house, Flood is curious to see if guests latch onto, and he thinks will be a cool extra element. So just at surface level, I'm definitely more excited for this one than I am Madlands. I think the whole robot blended with humans thing is gonna be really interesting. I like that he had like a little, I don't wanna say a callback, but a comparison to the Insidious house, which was great. One of the best HHN houses over the last 5 years since the last anniversary. That's for sure. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. Passing through Central Park now, over by the little stage and truss over here, not seeing anything new in this area. And even in here, I think we're probably gonna be a little slow on like construction updates in this scare zone. They do have the trusses that are up with the lights, but probably until we start getting props, I can't imagine there's gonna be too much that's new between now and then.
The mega movie parade is actually at 7 o'clock. We thought that it was like a daytime parade, like an earlier, like 3 o'clock or something like that, but it's actually at 7. So I think we might stick around and let Adrian watch it.
Yeah, and we haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, probably not since last summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pop into the Five and Dime. I'm curious if they still have like a ton of the IP merch. Still have the little sign for Stranger Things 5 out front. I don't think we're gonna get another IP announcement until after the 4th of July. Maybe that following Thursday. They think they're gonna take a break with the holiday, but we'll see. We'll find out together. Seeing a whole bunch of shirts. They're either restocking this stuff like really quick or just nobody's buying it. Yeah, like this ugly Stranger Things shirt has literally every size. There's like full racks of all the shirts here. I don't remember seeing this for like an IP this popular for announcement merch. Usually this stuff goes quick and then you never see it again.
So that was really fun watching the parade. I really enjoy that parade. Adrian was loving it. She was waving at all of the characters. And like we said, we haven't seen it since last summer, so I am glad that we caught it today. And the last original house that they announced for this year is called Invasion Alien Abduction, and it says make contact with horrors from worlds unknown in this haunted house where a ship full of greys have torn apart a remote homestead in search of fresh test subjects. Now this looks really interesting. I don't think, like, since we've been going to HHN, we've really been in an alien house, have we? So this is gonna be like new for us. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with it.
So for this house, Nerdist had an article and they did an interview with Charles Gray all about the Invasion house. Charles said they've actually been talking about this for, gosh, the last 5 years. And every time we got together as a group, because what we normally do is get a bunch of us together in a room and kind of toss around ideas for what's best for which year. They never quite made it to the forefront. Reason being is when you do the little gray men or aliens, it can quickly get humorous, it can quickly get kitschy and cheesy, and we've done that type of house before, or Scare Zone 2, but in Invasion, Alien Abduction, we really wanted to tell a story of the horrific moment at night when they're coming to take you, and that's frightening. We had talked about it, and finally, I think we came up with a story that really encapsulates that almost home invasion type of horror and fear. He also says that as you go through the Invasion alien house, you won't see the same
same character over and over again. We have a diverse group of aliens coming at you. We also had the issue of how do you create a giant 2 football field sized alien craft? So what we decided to do is really use lights to become the character. And then what is also coming out of the ships is an important question. We have these big giant tentacles, and then out of those big giant tentacles come these little organic claws that can puncture you, pull you into the ship. So it's really gory, really violent, and just put that aesthetic on everything. They asked if the house has any ties to existing HHN lore in any way or if it's totally new. And Charles did confirm that Invasion is a new story. They did not want it to tie to anything because most of the event is already tied to something or another tale or a prequel or things like that. So we really wanted this to be the first chapter. And so we're really excited about that. And we'll see what happens after this. They asked, are we going to be possessed by alien, terrorized by possessed cows? And how do you bring the animal aspect to life here? Charles said, when we were talking about how we create this and what's the story we want to tell, are these aliens sinister? We thought that the scariest thing would be that they just don't care. They're just grabbing animals, people. It's almost like the little kid with a magnifying glass type of thing. They don't see us as they're not there to terrorize us. They're there to take us and don't care what they'll puncture through, what kind of animal it is. They just want to do their experiments or whatever, but what makes us so violent is these big tentacles breaching through walls and grabbing whatever their heat-seeking device sees. So goats, cows, people, it doesn't matter. They're just grabbing them all. Halloween Horror Nights is always evolving with its scares. I know you mentioned these grabbing tentacles in Invasion Alien Abduction, but did you feel like you invented any new kind of scares or utilize any new technologies or effects in this? Yes, we have 2 new things, but I can't talk about them. That's the problem. I can't give away the scare, but we have one technological thing we're experimenting with this year and one new scare for this location, so I can say that much. What would you tell longtime fans of Halloween Horror Nights to get them excited about this house? For longtime fans, I would say this has the flavor of old HHN. It really does. This is most definitely kind of a love letter for those who've been coming back for a long time, and also the guy or the lady who's coming in and bringing their kid for the first time. I would say this is most definitely for that fan to be like, hey, this reminds me of when I first came to the park, and let me share that experience with you.
Okay, so we have all 5 original houses, still another couple IPs left to go. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna give like our 2 early rankings of the houses. Obviously we haven't been in them, we're just going off of the details that they put out, but we're gonna give our list starting at number 5 and moving our way up to number 1. Our lists are pretty similar.
Yeah.
We just did this like real quick in real time. My number 5 is gonna be Madlands Caged Cannibals. Like I said, it could be really good. This kind of falls in the museum category for me, so it's just kind of a wait and see. So that would be number 5. Number 4 for me is gonna be Cybergoria. I really like the concept of this house. I'm super excited to see what they do with it. Sounds like it's gonna be a good like technological house as well. So I'm excited for that. Number 3 is Invasion. I mean, you can't go wrong with an alien house,
yeah.
right? Let's see them aliens. And then number 2 is gonna be HR Blood and Guts. And then number 1 is gonna be Jack and Oddfellow. And then yours is?
Mine is pretty similar to Matt's. I just switched Cybergoria and Madlands, so I think I have Cybergoria as number 5, Caged Cannibals as number 4, the Alien as number 3, HR Blood and Guts, and then Jack and Oddfellow.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is your ranking similar to ours? Let me know what you think about the original houses that have been announced so far and where you would rank them. So that's gonna do it for this quick HHN 35 construction update, house update. I am excited. I know there's kind of been like a little bit of like mixed reactions to the houses that have been announced so far. I think all the originals sound really strong. I mean, Oddfellow is gonna be really good. Blood and Guts is gonna be awesome, an alien house.
Yeah.
And then we'll see like what, you know, Stranger Things, if they pull that off, or is it gonna be like Stranger Things 4? But overall, I'm happy with the lineup so far.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really excited to see what they do with all of this, and I am a Stranger Things fan, so I'm still excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 more IP houses that they have to announce. So
Yeah, so we'll see what those are. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video. I would be surprised if we get an announcement this Thursday, just because it is 4th of July weekend. It probably would get lost in the shuffle. So my guess is the following Thursday, which I think is the 9th, would be the next time I think we're gonna get an announcement, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, and we also have all of the scare zones that they have to announce.
The shows.
Yeah, and the shows. So
Yep,
there's
multi-night
still,
tickets.
There's still a lot that is going to be coming.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask about frequent fears and multi-night tickets. Those usually go on sale like that second week of July. So I think the next time we get an IP announcement, possibly on the 9th, is when we're gonna get the frequent fears and all that stuff. As always, hope you enjoyed coming along with us today. If you did, make sure you give the video a nice big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss out on all of our future Universal and HHN videos to come. With that being said, we'll see you guys real soon
In the fog.